Well, I don't know how it happened, but we're here again. I have lots and lots of clay scraps that I have to sort through because we have been making like crazy. So let's just have a clay sorting day. So these are all of my clay scraps that I have. It's actually not too bad because I managed to keep it over just the 3 bowls. But yeah, all I'm gonna do is turn these inside out, get all of the clay out, and then as I normally do, sort them into like colors. Alrighty, I kind of have everything semi-sorted, so now I'm just going to line it up in my rainbow order so that we can actually figure out what we need to roll through and process. Okay, so I have all of my colors laid out in my rainbow order, and then I, of course, have my 2 blob piles. So this one is actually a geometric cane that I put together, and it had all these retro colors. I may not actually fully mix this one. So this might be one that we kind of marble, or I might just dice it up and see what it looks like a bit chopped up. So this one I'm not gonna fully process. This one, these are my favorites because they most likely turn into some form of like either like brown, green, or browns or grays. But I always like to see what the tonality of it is once it's actually mixed together. So this one's going to be exciting. As for all of the others, they're fairly stock standard. It may look like I've got lots of almost similar greens, but you can see there's like slight tonality changes in these. See, I've got like a more sage muted tone. This one has more yellow undertones, and this is a darker kind of muted tone. So I want to try and keep as many variations as I can amongst each of the colors, just because it gives me options. So I might not have a huge amount of this clay, but it just means that if I need that particular green for a detail, it means that I am more likely to have it available the more green variations I have. Same with this, it's kind of a mix of green and ecru. It is very difficult when you are color mixing scraps that have been sitting in a bowl or something together to get really crisp yellows. They tend to muddy quite easily. So unless you have something like this buttercream, which has a few pieces of like contaminating colors, it should come out pretty good though. I do have a little bit of scrap white that I could mix in if I needed to lighten it at all. But that one is, yeah, just off to the side for that purpose. But this one, I know that I'm not going to get a really nice color out of this ecru. So I'm just going to mix it with a green so that I can get quite a yellow undertoned green from this one. Okay, I think we should process all of these and then get into this guy. If you are going to be using a pasta machine or some other kind of conditioner when you are rolling all of these out, I will say it is better to start with your lighter colors, including like whites and yellows, light pinks, and then move through the colors ending with reds and blacks, because sometimes if you're not cleaning in between each pass, you can get some residual color come through, and obviously reds and blacks are very pigmented. So we just want to make sure that we're not going to like further contaminate our colors by just going in a kind of lighter to darker sequence. I am finally done with all of the standard colors. I did want to point out, if you do have anything that's like a very specific color, so like this one is, I think, the rose gold glitter metallic or something like that, I just kept it by itself. I didn't want to mix it throughout anything else. So I tend to keep my specific colors, if I know what they are, I'll keep it as one piece. Everything else though is a bit of a mix. As you can see, I've got an assortment. I think some of my favorite ones that I got is this really nice. This was the ecru and kind of like sage mix, and it came out almost a bit like a pistachio. It's really nice, a really nice color. And also randomly this, it almost looks like a dark gray, but it has like a sage green undertone to it. So I think this would be really nice as like deep dark leaves in certain creations. So even if you think that that's not necessarily the nicest color, it'll have its place and it'll work perfectly for it. So I'm always really excited when I get really nice deep greens. As for everything else, it's, yeah, fairly stock standard. I will 100% go through all of these. But now what I wanted to get onto was this one. I did also find a random block of clay scraps, and I did think about adding it to this, but this again has a lot of those like yellows and greens in it. So I think it will come out as a really nice sage green option. So I'm going to mix this one separately, and then I'm going to mix the blob. So let's go and do that now and put your guesses in as to what color you think it's going to come out as. Oh, it's got a few more reds and brown tones in it than I thought it would. One tip that I did want to give if you are color mixing things that have either like a metallic leaf or some kind of glitter component is that just don't mix it through a big batch if you're not going to be using lots of glitter effect type clays. I've done this in the past where I've mixed a tiny amount of clay that has had metallic leaf on it before, and then I had basically glitter specks through an entire batch of green, and it meant that I could only really use that green in cases where I wanted that glitter effect, so it really limited me. Okay, I don't actually love that color. I don't know if there are many creations that I would use it in. It's kind of like almost a deep taupe, but has a very green undertone. So it's almost like it wanted to become sage, but turned out a bit brown. So I think at the end, we're just going to edit this slightly so that it'll be a more usable color. But onto the final piece. Let me know what you think will turn into. Okay, so I've got this one. It almost has like a purple undertone to it, but again, it's in that same vein of I might not use it for a lot. Ooh, it must have had a chameleon powder in it because the surface has this kind of purple blue sheen to it. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so because it has that in it and it has this kind of purple undertone, I'm going to try and edit this one so that it's more of a purple. And then this one has green undertone, so I'm going to try and make it more green. So this one that has that like purpley sheen to it, I'm actually going to add some cobalt blue to this one. And then I'll probably need to make it a little bit more purple by adding in some red, which I can just use a bit of red scrap mix. But I'm going to do it one step at a time. So let's add some blue in. For that amount of clay, I might add that's probably almost half to 3/4 of like one of these lines. This is not going to be a color recipe because I have no idea the quantities in this, but just as like a eyeball, just to see how much blue I've actually put in. I'm going to mix that, and then we're going to come back and see if I need to add red and how much red. Okay, it's definitely got more of a blue undertone now. It's almost going into like a green type color. So I'm going to get a bit of red, and we're going to see if we can get it to a more purpley type color. All right, we're getting more purpley. What I'm actually going to do is, it was looking really nice and purple when the red hadn't fully mixed in yet. So I do need to add more red. But I'm going to split it in half, and I'm going to add red to one half, and then I'm actually going to lighten the other half and just see what that's going to turn out like. So first up, more red. Okay, I'm really happy with that purple. It's kind of like a deep plum purple. We'll have a look at it better in the other light. I am just going to add white to this other side to see how this one comes up. Oh, I actually really like that tone. It is like a purple gray, but it does have that chameleon shimmer in it. It's very nice. Okay, let's go look at our colors. So they're a little bit easier to see in this light. As you can see, this was the one that I added quite a lot of red to, and it's a really nice kind of plum purple now. So very happy with this. This is the kind of color that I really like using in like autumn palettes. And then I've got this one, which is like a purple undertone gray. Again, I think I'll use this one a lot more in my creations than that other kind of, it wasn't even quite sage yet. It wasn't brown, it wasn't gray. It was that in between where it looks like it's an unfinished color. So now I'm very happy with the two colors I ended up with. I will also say that the very large piece that I had, splitting it off and creating two different colors from it is a great way to make sure that you're not ending up with a heap of a color that you might not necessarily love, because I didn't know how these were exactly going to turn out until I started working with them. So I always like to, if I've got quite a lot of clay and I'm adding more clay in, it's less risky if I break it in two and I do two different things with it. So very happy with those. Now all I've got left is this one. Now I think I just want to go further into the greens with this one. So it has got some yellow. I do have a lot of this blue, so I might actually just add some of this blue in. It'll even act to lighten it slightly. I might just add that much in. And I'm going to see how I go. I might need to add some kind of yellow or something else into it if it goes too blue, but let's mix that one up and see how we go. So I do have this beautiful sage color now. While I was mixing it though, I had another one of those moments where the blue wasn't fully mixed in and it was a really beautiful pale sage. So I think I'm going to once again split this one, and I'm going to keep half of this color, and then I'm going to add in a little bit more blue into this side. And I'm back. Yeah, I really like this color. I think I like this color even better than this one, but I think they'll work really well because they have the same blue through them. They're quite complementary and can be used in a cohesive palette together. It just means that if I wanted to have this as, say, a backing piece and then put some leaves on it with some like florals, I could use this deeper green as the leaves, or I could do like two-tone leaves on something. You don't need to do leaves. I could have like green with gold. It's up to you, but I just like having different variations of similar colors. It also means that that huge stack of blue that I had, I'm now down to a smaller stack. So I'm just making sure that my colors are going further for me. And those are all of our colors mixed. Now I just have the job, like I normally do, cubing them up, putting them in our storage, and then they're ready to be used another day. I hope you enjoyed the video today and that it has inspired you to clean out your craft supplies, whether it be sorting through your polymer clay or, I don't know, maybe you've got lots of washi tape or fabric or whatever it is that you enjoy crafting with. If you did like the video, we would love for you to like and subscribe to the channel. If you are a clayer and would love more clay goodies, you can always check out our YouTube membership by hitting the join button just to check out more information. And of course, any comments about today's video, you can pop a comment down below. We'll see you next time. Bye.